when you recruit for Hopkins, you have to find first people that can get in.
Yeah.
And then you're hoping for the ideal, but you might have to scale down and say, I don't get the ideal.
Right.
What can I get? So I'm a big Pep Guardiola fan.
Uh-huh.
So I guess I would say, like, I'm perfectly fine with center midfielders all over the field.
Yeah.
But, there's also, I can use a Holland
Yeah.
at target forward, right?
You won't turn one down?
No. So, there's times where we need certain positions to have certain functions. It would be nice to have wingers that are like Sané or Sterling that can really stretch a team out width-wise with enough pace that scares people.
Yeah.
But we might not get that. So then, okay, what if you're thinking FIFA? The video game and the scale of, like, okay, he brings fitness, he brings technical ability, he brings speed. It's just trying to fill in the holes with the best people I can find that can get in to Hopkins.
Yeah.
So
that leads to my next question about, I mean, you are Johns Hopkins, right? Like, academically, there is a threshold that, I worked in the Ivies right, it discounts a lot of players. I guess that, I mean, is that literally your first hurdle that you ask players? Like, okay, you're interested, what are your grades and all, to see if they meet that threshold?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's like most people, when I say, like, when I go recruiting and ask for a brochure, hey, do you have a brochure or anything, or do you have anybody with elite academics? They go, oh yeah, sure. And they'll start talking about somebody, and then they say what his test score is, and I'm like, no, that's not enough. And they're usually like, really?
Yeah.
When I say elite, I'm talking like there's a few schools like Caltech, MIT that I feel like the three of us are in the same boat. That like I might get more support than Ken does at MIT. But it's the same kind of pocket that they're looking at to say, like, like we're talking about like top of the top of the top. So if I get an email from an interested player and it has no academics, I rarely look at it. That's usually the first step of, like, okay, are the academics in line? Okay, then I'll look at the next step. But that takes some work, because some of these tournaments, you really, there'll be some tournaments like the old academy system, which is now the MLS Next. The first day I usually spend acquiring information. So I just am going around the fields asking for profile books to collect the academic information to know who I can actually look at.
Actually talk to, even whether you're interested or not at that point, right? Like, okay, they met that first threshold. Like I said, working in the Ivies, coaching, it is a complete. I don't think people understand the different kind of beast it is, right? And which, credit to you. I mean, credit to Johns Hopkins, right? Because you do still put out. You do still have really, like, elite teams. You guys, like I said, best, I think best in the country. Oh, Johns Hopkins soccer. Like, you can't go wrong on either, men's, women's, doesn't matter. So, and knowing how difficult it is to bring in those players is again, credit to you all. And let me ask you something, and this might be different because you are recruiting these very different sort of kids. What would you say? What would you say from a soccer perspective, and maybe even a coachability perspective? Where do you see current high school students that you're bringing into Hopkins? Like, where do you see they're lacking, right, or inability or lack of understanding as to what it means to play in a collegiate team? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think the most common answer would be speed of play.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'll add on to that is that the biggest gap that happens between somebody that I think will be good for us, that turns out that they need a lot more time than I thought, is somebody that has been very successful using some particular one function. You'll see it most often as a really fast player that their coaches before just lean into the speed for success and don't lean into coaching the player.
Yeah.
They're just going for results instead of, development. And so it's similar to like an academic student who comes in, who the only students that really struggle that they let in here are people who are attending high schools that aren't challenging them enough. And so they're extremely bright. They can probably cram the night before the test, ace it. Yeah, no big problem.
No, but
And they come here and they think they can operate in the same fashion. Blown away. Like, whoa, I need to put in work. Same thing. An extremely athletic player that can just blow by people, even though his first touch is a little bit struggling, but he can always get it back because he's more athletic than everybody.
That
struggles when they come in here and they go like, your first, we emphasize first touch. So like, see that one that just bounced above your knee? No good.
No good.
There you did it again. No good. And then, so there also is a bit of an adjustment because now I'm pointing out that is not good.
Yeah.
And so they go through a process of like insecurity because they were told that they were the greatest. And now they're looking around going like, okay, I'm not the greatest anymore. But as long as they have an open mind to listen, realize, okay, life's not what it was, it's different now, but it has the possibility to be even better. If they have that mindset to kind of settle in and be open and adapt, then they'll be fine.
I will say that to your point, like one of the frustrating things about watching the game is how often, especially the younger age groups, is how often coaches do lean into that strength that makes them better, not because they're better soccer players, but because they can recover from their own mistakes, which I always say, right? They're fast enough, they're strong enough where they don't need to control the ball. They don't need to have a good first touch because you know what? If it gets away from them, they're faster than the guy next to them and they're going to get the ball again, right? And that to me is that to me drives me nuts, right? Because I'm of that opinion. Like, look, we know what a successful soccer player looks like, and we could probably all agree on the top 5-10 things a soccer player needs to do, and just having one of those is just not good enough. So anyhow, that's another tangent for another day. Real quick, and cognizant of time, this was awesome, by the way, but what's the best way for someone to reach out to a prospect who wants to consider Hopkins, who, for those watching, make sure you have the grades and the test scores, but that are interested in playing soccer for you?
Well, they need to start by emailing me. It's important what they put in the email. Again, I'm not going to go very far if I don't know academics. And then some sort of video. I don't mind highlight videos. I've heard, I've been to camps and stuff where people say, like, we've heard coaches say no highlight videos. I like information. And so a highlight video gives me information. It doesn't give me all the information, but it gives me some information. It's like an appetizer. I can look at it and go like, okay, I want the main course, or I'm ready to move forward, or okay, it's not good enough. I would also say be persistent, because I don't have a full-time assistant coach. So there are way too many emails coming in that I can't spend a ton of time on the emails. I wouldn't be doing anything else. Again, my typing skills are hunt and peck, So I encourage people to be persistent. Just because I don't respond, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Get in front of me. So either on the tournament trail or camps somewhere. I have recruited player, and over COVID, just about everybody was recruited over video.
Yeah.
So it's not unheard of. It's not ideal. But you know, ideally I'm able to see you live to kind of evaluate you effectively.
Yeah.
So I'd say those are